you down there with all that candy.
Hey there, no running, no pushing, no touching. I'll throw you in a coffin and bury you. Hi, no running, no pushing, and no touching, or I'll dig a hole and I'll throw you in it.
Down there with all that candy. Hey, help me, please. Help. Help me, I can't breathe. Hurry, I won't be back next year if you don't help me.
Hi, no running, no pushing, and no touching, or I'll dig a hole and throw you in it.
Candy! Hey, help me, please! Help! Help me, I can't breathe! Hurry, I won't be back next year if you don't help me!
Hi, no running, no pushing, and no touching, or I'll dig a hole and I'll throw you in it. Hey, no running, no pushing, and no touching.
Hey, you down there with all that candy! Hey, help me, help me! Please! Help!
Oh, here we go, Andrew. Here comes the crew.
Well, throw you at it.
Help me, I got free!
No pushing. No touching. Or I'll dig a hole and throw you at it.
Help me!
No running. No pushing. And no touching. I'll throw you in a coffin and bury you. Pushing. And no touching. I'll throw you in a coffin and bury you.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Haunt Tech section of the Rockingham Terror 2013 Haunt. Wanted to go through a couple of the key tech pieces that we we built this year for our haunt. So first up is the event timers. So this was our Monster in the Box event timer, and we resurrected this from last year. So it's the same basic controller board, the two 12-volt relays and the transistor pack, 5-volt regulated power supply. We pump 12 volts into everything. So a lot of our electronics have to have a 5-volt regulated supply. This year, I replaced the audio kind of hacked together solution I had last year with a much cleaner MP3 board. Got that off the internet from Midfly. These boards are like $10 a piece, and allow you to basically record up to 99 different tracks and then burn those onto a little SD card if you can see there. So you can put it on an SD card, and then you can programmatically select a particular track or put it into a random mode. Now this year we did have some issue with the random function on these cards, so that's something we'll work with off-season, because it adds a nice effect being able to record a lot of different scenes, and then have your prop run through those in a random manner, so it sounds a little better. And then I guess the only other thing to point out on these were motor controllers. So I have a modified computer power supply that I use for all the motors. Run those through the relay. And then on the other end here, 12 volts in, 12 volts out. So you can gang several of our electronics together using one power brick. Since it's all pretty low amperage, you can gang several of these together without any kind of issue on a 6-amp power brick. And then we have an audio out, that's stereo, and then a passive infrared input to trigger the whole thing. So that's our basic event timer layout, probably our most simple one. We have some more complicated ones I'll show you here in a minute. The next item that we did this year was to bring a little more control under the haunt. What we did was we found these 12-volt audio amps off of eBay for like $5 out of China. So we bought a whole bunch of these and just made these little boxes, just a little electrical box here that we used to stuff it into. They're 15 watts a channel, so you come out of your event timer, MP3, the MP3 out, audio in, obviously, left, right, 12-volt supply of the thing. And for 15 watts, they actually got some nice volume on them. The Hangman and the Gravedigger and the Groundbreaker and the Zombies, pretty much everything used these little amplifiers. So we were very happy with the performance of them. I had a few extra thinking that they would break down, but there really wasn't any problem this year with them. So real pleased with the way that those functioned for us. The next item would be stepping up to our more complex event timer. So this guy here, we've got 4 of these actually, and you can control several props with them. So we've got the relay outs, up to 8 relays internal. So we've got the relay outs that we can drive lights from them. We can drive the pneumatic relays from them. And then next year I'll probably add to some of these, I'll probably add a couple external inputs so that we could actually run some motors off of some of the relays as well. So again, making them as universal as we can so we can put them on whatever type of prop we come up with. So relay outs here, this one you can see was used for our coffins, our 2 coffins. We have a pickaxe input port here so we can program the pickaxe in place. We have 2 PIRs, so if I wanted to do more than 2 props I could add additional external triggers if I want. 12 volt in obviously. And then the other side, 12 volt out. Again, we could gang several of these boxes together. Right now, this will support up to 2 MP3 players, so we have 2 audio outs. So if I just pop the top on this thing, you can see, hopefully you can see here. So MP3 player, again, the MP3 player right here. I could put a second one in back, 5 volt power supply. 5 volts coming off of here to run the pickaxe breadboard, and then over on this side here, the card that has the 8 relays. Again, this became more of an integration. I decided to take that approach this year because the parts are so cheap out of eBay. You really can do this stuff so cheaply by just buying and integrating. Let's see, the other thing I guess to comment on here, we discovered that we were getting noise, and this is actually Nick discovered that we were getting noise in the system from the solenoids, so we put some diodes across the outputs. I think for next year we'll probably replace these diodes and put them closer in the solenoid boxes themselves, because some of our runs here were like 20, 25 feet. and I think putting the diode closer to the noise source is probably a better solution. So we'll probably do that. These worked okay, but again, I think just moving it to the solenoid itself keeps this box kind of more universal, and then just clamping that noise at the source is a better approach. So that's that's kind of our big. We built 4 of these, so that took us obviously some time this year off season to do. The next item, so these are our solenoid boxes. Hopefully, if you can see that. There we go. Again, we were running the entire supply lines at about 60 psi. So most of the props only take maybe around 40 or less. So there's a pressure regulator on these. And then if you open up the box, you can see there's a 12-volt solenoid inside. This was a dual-port solenoid, and then we had a adjustable muffler that we put on one of the ports. So that way, depending on what prop we were using, we could adjust the retraction or the push rate of the cylinder. By dialing in this little set screw here they have in the back. So it just adds resistance basically and makes it exhaust at a slower or faster rate. That's basically how it works. So again, we'll probably put the diodes across these solenoid boxes, and then that way whatever we plug into, we don't have to worry about noise coming from those coils. So that's our solenoid box. The other piece for this year that I'll just show, this is what we call our storm box. So this produced our lightning effect. So we pump in a thunder track into this. There's 2 light organs in here that then allows us to produce a stereo light effect. So we have a left and right sensitivity, left-right track, 500 watts can go into each channel. And then what we use for the lighting is we use these clamp lights, and these clamp lights basically we have a 250 watt photographer's bulb in there. So these are 250 watt photo bulbs that have a nice blue white kind of light coming off them that gives us a really nice kind of lightning type effect. So that's it for this year. We'll probably, you can see the scissor hinges that we made for a couple of the props, the 2 zombies that popped out. Those took a lot of time. I don't have video on them. I might do some video later on them, but they're fairly complex, and they all break down so they can be stored away. So maybe I'll make a video if I have some time later to show that. So until next year, thanks everybody for watching.